Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Green Room Podcast. I'm Matthew Bruni, and joining me once again is Colin Mitchell. Colin,
Mhm.
how are you on this Saturday night? Did you have a nice Saturday? I heard Avatar was good. That's what you texted me about.
Avatar, I was a hater, and now I'm excited for 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, and 8, or however many they're gonna have. So
I
we'll see.
don't, I don't believe it can be good.
I mean, I was like a full blown hater. I was like, there is no way that a movie that came out when I was 12 years old
Yeah.
is gonna have a sequel now, and it's
Well,
gonna be good. But
here's
listen,
my thing.
I didn't even need to watch the first movie, and I thought it was good.
So I watched. Obviously, we all saw the first one when we were kids,
Yeah,
right?
I didn't rewatch it.
But like, nothing sticks with me about that movie,
Yeah, that's
like the
why I
first
thought that
one.
the second was gonna be garbage. This movie's really
Just like
good.
nobody ever like, hey man, I really want to go watch the first Avatar again.
Yeah,
Like, nobody ever says that, even though it was
but I would
the highest.
rewatch the second Avatar. And I
Okay,
never rewatch movies.
okay. So you're telling me this Avatar movie is good.
I would give it an 8 out of 10.
That's pretty high.
There's one actor that's pretty bad.
Okay. All right.
Uh
No
that
spoilers.
made me drop it too. I think it's interesting that you're not using a light on your face and instead you're using it on the wall for behind you. That's kind of interesting to me.
Well, I also have the ring light in front of me,
Is it
but
on?
yeah. You want me to move it
Okay.
closer?
It just looks like you have a shadow on your face. You see how my face is bright? You see how you can see
I'll
my
move it
skin
closer.
tones and my cheeks?
I'll move it closer. Well, yeah, but I think I told you before. I think I told you before. I don't like how dark our podcast looks
And now we're
when.
lighting up and now you're darker. Now you're a lot better. You're a lot better.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, I did told Colin I didn't like how dark it was whenever I didn't have the lamp on here, and it was just black background with
Do you
dark.
want me to turn the
So
background to
no,
green?
it's good. It's good, Colin.
Okay,
It's
I was
good.
gonna
All
say
right,
because that
two
would
minutes in.
suck. Yeah,
2 minutes in, we've
we've
given an
talked about
Avatar
way
review.
more. We talked about way more for longer, but it's okay.
We've given an Avatar review. We
Yeah.
fixed our lighting. We're good to go. We're good to pod.
Hmm.
We're good to talk about North Texas basketball. Okay,
Yeah.
so North Texas played FAU today. We're recording this on Saturday night. They played at 1 p.m. in Boca Raton. Um, how many minutes did they end up leading in this game? It was
I
like
think it was the whole game except for the first, like
I
when
thought,
it
yeah,
was
I
like
thought it was
four
like
to three.
35 minutes or something like that.
Where's that stat on here?
I don't see the stat up here. Regardless, they led for a vast majority of the game. Um, but they end up losing to FAU 66-62 in a game between the two best teams in Conference USA by a wide margin. There's a lot of different places we can go with this game. I mean,
Hmm.
just obviously for everybody who watched it, y'all know North Texas was in the lead. FAU comes back. FAU had a really good crowd. Good for them because I'm not used to FAU having a good crowd. Tyler Perry comes live in the second quarter. Aaron Scott, I thought, had a really good game.
Yep.
Kai was making threes. Like, everything looked like it was going in the right direction, and they couldn't quite get the win. So they lose the season series to FAU, lose both of those games, fall to 5-2 in conference play, have FIU on Monday. What do you think about the loss?
I think my initial reaction was you're getting to the NCAA tournament without winning the Conference USA tournament is over now. I think that you had to win this game because I guess and you
I
would know
agree.
this better than me. I think this was considered a quad one game. Would this be considered
Yeah,
quad one or quad two? Okay, quad
yes,
one.
because it's on the
So
road. On the road against the top. Well, hell, their number FAU was number like 14 in the net. So yes, it would have been a
yeah,
quad one game either
right.
way.
So there's that, right? My concern moving forward is I think that that is the only way that they end up getting to the tournament because I don't, and I'll elaborate this more. I don't think that this team is built for tournament basketball. I think it's built to win conference championships. I think they'll win the conference championship this year because I think FAU will inevitably come down. But this team is so built to just grind out games, win games, but I don't think they could put it all together in a tournament setting. And I think we saw that at the end of this game, in a game where it was like it felt like they kind of had not. I mean, they don't have to win it, but it felt like a tournament game. It was like,
Yeah,
okay, this is big. We're leading. How do we close this game out? And FAU feels a lot like the North Texas team with Javion, Reese, all those guys.
Trez, Zach,
That's what
Thomas.
FAU feels like now. The same grit, but the talent is used a lot better. And I, like I said, we talked about this over and over again. I'm not trying to harp on North Texas talent because I think they're talented. I just don't think, you know, for whatever reason, they're not able to put the production up. But I think FAU is that team that if they get to the tournament, they have the defense and they have the offense to do it. Whereas UAB now, I'm not really scared of UAB in a tournament, but I don't think North Texas is going to be able to overcome 5-minute droughts in a tournament setting. Now, I think they can overcome that in a regular season setting because you can just grind teams down. You know what I mean?
You're playing, let's say FIU, then Rice and UTSA.
Exactly. And not
Middle
only that, you have rest
Tennessee.
between games. The way North Texas plays, if you're playing those back to back games, I mean, you're grinding out.
Well, yeah, that's the whole thing. So like I'm overall very, very positive, I think, with this team still. Like I want to get to your point in a second. But to speak to your first point, the real negative that I have from this game is that this felt like a must-win game, and this felt like a game that those teams in the prior years would have won.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's fair or not because we saw that Javion team that made the tournament, like this team, we saw this team lose games. Like they got swept by UAB. Remember they lost. They split with La Tech at home. Like this team came in third in their division, but the thing is if you always felt like they had the talent and they had the potential and the potency to elevate at times when they needed to and win games in the tournament. Last year's team, I thought, did not have that level. They had to grind you out. They were super, super consistent, but their ceiling wasn't as high, clearly.
Right.
But they figured out a way to win games. So you go from two teams where I think their ceilings were pretty high. Obviously, the COVID year that got cut short, I think they would have had a very high ceiling. That 2021 team had a very high ceiling. 22-2 team, I think, had a lower ceiling. This year's team, again, to repeat ourselves, it feels like they should have a higher ceiling, but they're playing like last year's team, and their offense has taken a significant dip, as we've mentioned throughout the entire season. They're now 308th in 2-point percentage in the country. Like their 3-point percentage is climbing, which is very, very encouraging. But the 2-point percentage isn't good. They don't get easy baskets. They had 5 shot clock violations and 16 turnovers total. Like you're not going to beat good teams doing that. And to your point, in a tournament setting, if you are turning the ball over 16 times when you only have like 60 possessions a game because you run the clock down the whole time, you're not going to win 4 straight games. Like that's just very, very hard to do. So, or maybe it's only 3 straight games because of buys. But regardless, it does feel like that's my main takeaway from this negatively is that you lose the potential for an at-large bid because you're even if you run the table from here on out, they don't have enough quality wins.
Yeah.
You don't. Your best win is over Grand Canyon, which I think Grand Canyon's actually a really solid team. Like that's a good win, but you didn't beat St. Mary's. You didn't beat either FIU. You didn't beat FIU either time. Like you can beat UAB twice, but it doesn't do it for me. I don't think they make the tournament at this point as an at-large team. You have to win the tournament. So
right.
That's where my negativity comes from is that they're not going to get an at-large bid. And I just routinely, I think we see when these two FAU games, because now this is 2 games. This is 80 minutes of context here. FAU just has that extra gear at times. And I think North Texas was arguably the better team in those games. But FAU had the extra gear. Like we saw with this team right here in 2021. They have the extra gear.
Yeah.
Right? Like Western Kentucky was probably the better team in that championship game. North Texas had an extra gear. So I don't know. That's my negative takeaway.
Well, that's the thing. You had other players that can make shots. Tyler Perry at the end of games, if he's not hitting the shots, I mean, it looks sad. It makes you want to pull your hair out when it's like, okay, well, this is the only guy that can go to. Whereas in the past, you had Dress hit big shots. You had Thomas Bell hit big shots in that Western Kentucky game that you're talking about. Obviously, Javion, Reese. I mean, you had guys that can make shots where it goes, okay, everyone clear out. Everyone knows that no one else is getting the ball. I mean, maybe Kai, but no one else is getting the ball. Yeah. And it's just like, okay, well, this is another Tyler 3 instead of, going for a 2 or drawing a play. I don't know how they drew up the end of the game, but it just looked like a Tyler ISO to me. And that's what they're hinging the whole game on. Cause they know if he misses the shot, they're not going to win the game.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously offensively, they still have some work to do. I am slightly encouraged. Obviously they shoot 12-21 from 3. Like if they shoot 40% from 3 for the rest of the year, they're going to be a very, very difficult team to beat. That includes Kai going 3 of 4. That includes Aaron going 2 of 4. And Aaron's been hot. lately. Edie has been trigger happy. I think that's been really good. Ruben's 1 of 2. Like they're getting comfortable shooting the ball at least. That's a positive. And I have more positives as we move forward. But like you're right in that the entire season has been about, all right, how are you going to help Tyler out? And then Abu had that really good run.
Yeah.
And then Abu was in foul trouble and ends the game with what was it, 1 point or 2 points? 1 point and
1
2
point tonight
boards
or
on
today. Yeah.
0-3 shooting. And a couple of those were kind of bunnies that I thought he should have made. So like at the end of the day, it's Tyler Perry, and then everybody else kind of falling in line. You hope that the rest start getting a little bit more comfortable, which I think they are. And that leads me to the positive side. If you want to talk about anything.
I'm going to push back against that a little bit because I don't think comfortable should be Tyler Edie getting 2 shots. I don't think it should mean Aaron Scott leading the team in field goal attempts. I think this team needs to shoot more than 45 times a game.
Well, that goes back to the turnovers.
Well, I mean, yes, it goes back to their turnovers, but also, Tyler Edie 1 of 2. What are we do? I mean, Jaden Martinez, he took 5 shots. Matthew Stone had the 1 shot. Ruben 6 shots.
I don't know. I didn't have a big problem with the
shot.
mean,
I don't mean
they took away Tyler pretty well.
I don't mean tonight. I just mean overall.
Yeah.
Like it's like on another night, if Tyler gets 14 shots, then Ruben's gonna get 4 instead of the 6, and Kai's gonna get 8 instead of the. It feels like it's just always the same amount, and it's always gonna go. It's like instead of. It's like you start the game and it's like, okay, we have 55 possessions and this is all we're going to have the whole game. And you're counting down from that instead of being able to go up from there or go down if you need to. I think that's the biggest issue for me. It's like, it's going to be 30 seconds. You're going to run the clock down. You know that 30% of the time, I'm just making up a number, Tyler is going to be coming off a ball screen and throwing up a shot, which works. I mean, I'm not saying it doesn't work sometimes, but it's just, I hate the way the offense works. I just hate it so much.
Yeah, I mean, you're not gonna get pushback from me on that. Again, it feels a little bit. I mean, they're the slowest team in the country. That's really
which is fine. Like I don't mind it, but show me something dynamicism. I don't like if the 2 years ago team, they were really slow, but you had guys that you were like, okay, I know Reese can get hot. I know Javion obviously hot. Thomas.
Well, that's what they're trying to get to, though. I feel like that's where they're trying to get to, and that guys just haven't been making shots. So now maybe if guys start making shots, you start to get a little more comfortable. So
okay, but I mean, but if they're making 51% of their shots, and I'm complaining about that right now, when is that going to come? How does that come? I mean, you had Tyler with 18. Yeah, that's great. Kai, I think he should be averaging 13, even though we say this is a really good game. I think this needs to be normal for him. Aaron Scott, 14. That's great. But then you have 1 from Abu, which is uncharacteristic. Jaden Martinez, 4 points. Matthew Stone, 2 points. I don't expect much from Ruben, 7 points. Like, you got to have guys where it's like you can trust them to make shots when you need to make a shot. And that's where I feel like this team. Kai hit the big shot the other day to win the game. But outside of those two, you can just trap them. They trap Tyler at the end of the game. And that's.
I mean, I've said before that I would trap Tyler. The thing is, I just feel like they're moving in the right direction with everything that we're talking about. Like we want them to make more shots. They're making more shots. We want Matthew Stone to not play 20 minutes. He played 7. Like
that's true.
That's good. Like
I guess I just don't think it's happening as quick as I'd like.
Like, yes, the loss sucks, guys. The loss sucks. I agree. I think it really sucks because if they even split these two, we're looking at the rest of the season like, hey, if they sweep UAB, if they go 18-2 in conference, this is a team that could potentially, in theory, get an at-large bid because their nets and their KenPom are going to be so damn high. And if they make it to the championship and lose, you have that chance. You have that chance, and you also make the NIT again. If you do win the regular season title and move on, and they could maybe still win the regular season title. FAU 6-0. They obviously have a 2-game advantage because they've already beat North Texas twice. But who knows? They almost lost to FIU. North Texas could get hot, and the offense could come around. That at large is out of the picture.
Yeah,
North Texas is trending in the right direction offensively. And I think with 3-point shooting, and I think that bucket from Kai to beat La Tech was intentional, and I think it gave him a lot of confidence moving
Yeah,
forward. That's my
absolutely.
hope. That is my hope. So you see Aaron Scott getting better. You see Kai getting better. We need Abu to get back to where he was. But you have those, and then teams are going to continue to harass Tyler. He's going to continue to get those 9 shots a game, and if he makes 5 of them, that's great. But I just see it's not pretty, but shots are going in more. And that's the biggest thing, because while I think that I agree with you, the past 3-4 years, whatever you want to say, those teams were more dynamic. At the end of the day, really, the biggest difference was that their 3-pointers went in. Like, that's what I've said on this podcast 100 times, is that I've read the rankings of where they've ranked in 3-point shooting. They were last year 59th, year before that 36th, year before that 17th. Like, they've always been a good 3-point shooting team over the last 3 years. This year they were down in the 200s. Now they're up to 133. The shots are just going in a little bit more. In conference play, they're shooting 37% from 3. So if that continues to happen, I feel good about this offense. Like, that's and if that continues to happen, there is still a path to them going like 16-4 in conference.
Yeah.
And maybe winning the regular season title still, which would ensure them getting into the NIT. Like, that's still a big deal. So I'm just very, very positive still. I think there's a lot of winnable games. Now, if they lose to FIU, I won't be as positive, obviously. But if they beat FIU, if they beat Rice, if they split with UAB, like, I'll still be cool. And I think there's a good chance that they end up going 15-5 or better.
Yeah, I mean, I said that I think that they still have a chance to win the regular season conference championship. It's just, we talked about over and over again, there's no really gimme games this year. You have to catch up. They almost lost to La Tech because of the same issues that I was talking about. They keep turning the ball over. They had, how much did they have tonight? 16. I think they had 17 against Middle, and then they had against La Tech, they had 16. Maya.
What was Maya barking at?
She heard something. 16 against La Tech. I don't think that's going to get easier, because you force the ball in Tyler or Kai's hands, and when they trap them, that's just what's going to happen. So I mean, outside of making shots, I don't see. Sorry, making the shots they've been getting, I don't see a way, in my eyes, that their offense is going to get much better. Because, sorry.
No, I'm sorry, I cut you off. I didn't know you were talking still. But anyways, all I was going to say is, I think we forget how ugly the offense has been at times over the past 7 years.
But does it feel
this coaching
like the missed layups this year?
Look, okay, yes. Look, missed layups are missed layups. I can't. Yeah, I mean, they're Division I freaking players that are 6'8" at the rim. Like, if they miss a layup, I don't know what to say. Like, it was weird. They're missing them. But the turnovers, which I agree, the offense is not pretty to watch. It's not. This year they ran and through, what are we now? 6 games in?
Yeah.
They're 7 games in. 7 games in the conference, right? A third of the way through the conference. They're 7th in the conference in turnover percentage. Okay. Last year, they were 12th out of 14 teams. The year before that, they were 9th out of 14 teams. And the year before that, they were 6th out of 14 teams. This year, they're 7th out of 11 teams. Like, I don't the offense has never been aesthetically pleasing. They've had moments, and I think this year the concern is, sure, turnovers is a concern, definitely. But the bigger concern is that this team feels a little bit more sporadic at times. Like, we have the 5-minute droughts, and then you have where they went punch for punch with FAU, where they were just like hitting threes, and you're just like, okay, are they good now? Is this what's happening? Like, they do feel more sporadic, but my point is, this is the same damn offense we've seen the past 4 years. The difference is the ball wasn't going in the hoop. Now the ball's going in the hoop. If the ball goes in the hoop, they're going to be fine. So that's where I'm at with this team. I think they're going to be fine if the ball goes in the hoop.
I don't have anything else to say. I said my piece.
You have said your piece. And I know you're not blowing up or anything on them.
No, it's just like 2 years ago, you had Zach that was able to pass really well. You don't have that with Abu. You could run the offense through Thomas last year and still play with Tyler. Now you don't have that inside presence to run anything through. So it's like you're playing everything from the perimeter. You're forcing everything through your guards, and then you're hoping that Abu, you're hoping that Abu doesn't get doubled so he can make a good pass. So it's like everything hinges on how is Tyler doing? It really does. Sure. Everything hinges on that. And that's my biggest concern. It's just how, and I guess to Kai to a certain extent too, it's like it really hinges on how well those two are doing. Because if Tyler has an off night, and by off I mean, he makes like it gets 6 points or something, 8 points or something like that, it's gonna be an awful game to see. Like if that happens. And now I don't think that's a likely chance to happen. But if it happens, and in a tournament setting, like I said, that could happen because you're game planning for a team way more so than you are, during a regular season. That just it's just there's so many things that have to go perfect in my eyes for this team to win games. It's just that they're really good at doing it because they did it last year. Yes. Whereas I still think the teams from 2 years ago and 3 years, or sorry, 2 years ago, 2 years ago and 3 years ago didn't have to have everything go right because they could overachieve in moments. Whereas this team, I feel like, has to hit every benchmark, every bit of status quo that they have in them to win a game.
Yeah, and like we said before earlier this season, is it felt like going into the season they didn't have to live like this. Like they shouldn't have to be, doing this. They shouldn't be the slowest team in the country, basically. And that slowest team in the country metric, I know we harp on it a lot, but it truly speaks to how this team plays.
Yeah.
Like at every facet, it speaks to how this offense is designed and what they do. Like if you're truly kind of trying to be a little bit more open of an offense, you don't have the slowest tempo in the country. You just don't. Ultimately, it works. They win games, and I've repeated that time after time. But like, that's kind of who they are at this point.
Yeah.
And so yes, it does. I do wish maybe they were a little bit more open at times, but they're not. We just have to hope the ball goes in the hoop.
Right.
That's it. Real quick, I want to give a shout out to Tyler Perry because I don't think we've given enough shout outs to Tyler Perry on this podcast. He is now 50 of 107 from 3 for 47% on the season,
which is crazy.
Which is absolutely insane. Can you do some quick math for me? What's 107 divided by 15?
107 divided by 15?
Yeah, pull a calculator out. Do that for, what was that, 9, 8?
107 divided by
not
15
even close.
is 7.1.
Okay. So he's shooting 47% on over 7 attempts per game.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. And he's averaging he's averaging almost 18 points a game in a team that scores 62 a game.
Yeah, he's scoring 30 points basically, right? Like this is like literally this is give me a player, give me a star, like Luka.
Like Luka
scoring 33 a game on a team that scores 100, right? Like he's scoring 33% of their points basically.
Yeah, every game.
Every single game. Like it's nuts. It's absurd how good he's been. I was looking through his conference season, really his entire season. Because you mentioned he's like, what if there's a game that he scores 8 points? I'm like, what? That's a good point. What if there is a game? There's only been one game where he scored single digits.
You want to know a crazier thing?
What?
The North Texas averages 7 made threes a game. Tyler averages 3 a game. Yeah. Like, that's what I'm saying. So much has to go right for this team to win. And to their credit, it works. Like, and I want to make sure, because I'm not trying to say that, this team isn't going to win games and blah, 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 blah. Because I think they will. I'm just concerned about ultimately getting the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, you're worried about winning. You're worried about winning the conference tournament now because since they lost, their at-large bid.
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about, and hopefully, we can see, other guys make more contributions. But that's all I'm worried about. At the end of the day, that's what this team's playing for. They're playing to get, obviously, the conference championship, regular season championship, but to get in the NCAA tournament. They don't want to, as much as the NIT is a good tournament, they don't want to go back there if they've been to the other one before. So that's all the reason why I'm bringing all this up, because FAU tonight, I think, they're the best team of the conference, and it's going to remain that way until said otherwise. Yeah.
So, but anyways, shout out Tyler Perry. I mean,
that's crazy stat. Actually, that's actually crazy.
I mean, it's 19, 20. These are his last 6 games: 19 points, 20 points, 22, 11, 21, and 18. Those are
golly.
And it's been like that the entire season. Like he's just
automatic. Well, it's like funny because Bruni and I text back and forth during games, and we only send like one word text to each other. And every time Tyler makes a shot, we're just like, God dang. We're like, what?
Or we just type TP in caps.
Yeah, or we just go, God.
Yeah, shout out Tyler Perry. Shout out Aaron Scott for really coming into his own over the
Yeah.
past few games. I mean, that's 4 straight games in double digits.
Yep.
And
Yep.
before that, he had 1 game in double digits the entire year. And he's now done it 4 times in a row.
That's
So,
crazy.
yeah, shout out to A. Scott. Like I said, I think the offense is the big thing here. They're moving up a little bit in offensive rating. The defense is what it is. We know it's going to be good. We know at times maybe teams can get hot at. I mean, honestly, a team can get hot against any defense in the country, right? Like it's
Yeah.
just kind of how
Just
basketball
if it
works.
hit shots, yeah.
Yeah, they hit shots. FAU was hitting tough shots. Like that's what good teams do. But I am confident North Texas will be good moving forward. So we'll see. All right, that's all we got. We hope y'all enjoyed the podcast. North Texas now 5-2 overall. We did a football podcast last time. Be sure to check that out on Chandler Rogers, new quarterback. That was an interesting conversation we had there. And yeah, we'll probably be back. Man, I don't know. After the UAB game, January 21st. Yeah, that's good. That's good. A week from now.
I will be in Houston on January 21st.
You're going to Houston? I didn't even know this.
I have to go to a couples shower at a country club for Norma's friend. I don't know.
Wait, is it for your who? What?
It's for Norma's friend.
Okay.
Yeah.
Country. And why do you have to go?
I
Because
was
it's
invited.
couples thing.
No, it's just like I gotta go because I'm going to the wedding. I guess I don't know. I don't know how it works. Norma's just like, we got to get you some clothes, and I was like, okay.
We have to get you some clothes.
I was like, can I golf that day? Like,
meet in Houston. You can go around a golf.
Yeah, I was like, you go to the couple shower. I'll just go golf at the country club while you're there. Like, I don't need to be there for the event.
Let's see what time this game is at. If they have it Saturday, January 21st. UAB. God, that's a busy day of basketball.
I'll be busy 1 to 4. Well, actually, I'll be busy all day because we're going there and then coming back same day.
All right. Well, the game's at 4, so
yeah, not happening.
We'll see what we can do. He'll watch it back and we'll watch it. We'll do a podcast on that Sunday.
Yeah.
But anyways, until then, we appreciate y'all for joining us. Let's subscribe to the YouTube channel, leave a like and a comment as well. That you think, how do you think North Texas will end up in conference? 14-6, 15-5, 16-4. What do you think? Follow us on Twitter at Matthew Bruni _ and at CJH Mitchell. Follow us on Facebook right above Colin's head is the Green Room Podcast. Spotify. We appreciate y'all support, and we will talk to y'all later.